Hello everybody, kia ora and welcome to this video about the astrology of the week ahead. I'm going to focus on one big aspect that's happening, and that is a sextile between Uranus and Neptune. First of all, I want to say Happy New Moon. I've already done a video about the Virgo new moon at 0 degrees of Virgo, and you can see that video on my channel. But this video that I'm doing right now will probably come out on the day of the new moon. But coming up is a really big moment where we have the very slow moving Uranus. It moves around the zodiac in 84 years, coming into a sextile aspect with the even slower moving Neptune, which takes 165 years to go around the zodiac, and they only come together in a conjunction every 170 or so years, just a little bit over that. They came together in the late 1980s, early 1990s, and that was a conjunction, late Sagittarius, early Capricorn. They met up, I think it was 5 times over a few years, and now they have separated because Uranus is faster, so it gets ahead of Neptune, and they're now at 60 degrees from each other, and that is a sextile. It is an aspect of ease and flow between those two, and it becomes exact on the 29th of August. Just checking I've got that date right. On the 29th of August, yep, Neptune and Uranus will be exact at, let me see, because I've written some notes. Going to pause while I find mine. They will be exact at 1 degree and 26 minutes, with Gemini having Uranus there and Neptune being at 1 degree 26 minutes of Aries. Okay, and they are part of a much bigger configuration, more important configuration. As I've been talking about, it only will have happened like this maybe in 2,500 years, maybe longer. And that is this Neptune-Uranus sextile is part of a mini grand trine with Neptune conjunct Saturn, sextile Uranus, and then 120 degrees across to Pluto. Okay, and I'm just going to show you that. Last time I was drawing it backwards for everyone, and oh my goodness, then because I thought it would come around. I hope that that's the right way around. It looks backwards to me, but I hope that's working, because last time I drew it backwards and then it came out the wrong way around. Okay, so Neptune's up there at Aries, 1 degree of Aries, and it is sextile, 60 degrees to Uranus and Gemini, but it's part of a much bigger mini grand trine with these 60 degree angles with Pluto, and 120 from Uranus to Pluto. I'm not going to focus on those two too much, because I just want to celebrate even this aspect alone, which is hugely rare, very rare. But it's even rarer, incredibly rare to have all of these together. Okay, so Neptune. Let's talk about Neptune first. It's at 1 degree of Aries. It's just moved in to Aries from Pisces. It will be going back to Pisces for a little while. And Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. Neptune is about a world that is beyond what we can see and feel and touch. It's about the unseen energies of the world. It's about, in a way, the unconscious, or the unconscious, I would say. And I would even say sometimes Uranus is a bit like that, or a higher consciousness. Anyway, Neptune is the unseen energies around us that connect everything. It's about how we are all connected to all that is, to everything that is in the world. And by the way, I'm working in the van. I'm recording this in the van, and it's raining outside. Otherwise I'd go outside, and my lovely partner is making dinner for us. So those are the noises in the background. So some nice practical reality happening in the back of this discussion on Neptune, which is not about practical reality. Neptune is about unreality. It dissolves boundaries and makes everything be able to join up. Hence, Neptune is the ruler of the sea, you know, like the sea god, where, and you know how the sea or the water will connect everything. Water flows. Water is dreamy. If you go underwater to an underwater world, it's like you're in another realm that's kind of magical, colorful, beautiful, and flowing and mystical. So Neptune's very mystical. And it's in our lives, like how Neptune can help us remember about how things connect, how everything is connected, and that there's existence beyond our earthly lives. Neptune can help us remember about unconditional love and charity and compassion, because Neptune accepts everything. And Neptune, when we have a Neptune transit, it dissolves things. It dissolves boundaries. Neptune is about boundlessness, like everything going on and on and on forever in an unreal kind of way. The downside of Neptune is confusion and vagueness and over-glamorizing things, being taken for a ride. Neptune is also helpful because it reminds us about visualizing and imagining things. And often that's the start of making something new or making something real and bringing ideals into the way that we live. Because Neptune can be idealistic and imagine anything, and that's often how things start, is from this imaginative idea that's, even if it's unreal or it seems unreal. Okay. And Neptune with the Saturn conjunction at the moment, because Neptune and Saturn are together in the sign of Aries, and Saturn won't be with Neptune for quite as long because Saturn's faster, but Saturn is about making things real and practical and being disciplined and working hard for the future. And with Saturn there, it's going to help Neptune imagine things into reality. That's the Saturn part. But anyway, we're not talking about Saturn too much today. We're talking about Neptune sextile to Uranus, the 60-degree angle. Now Uranus is the planet of awakening, rebellion, refreshing ideas, brilliant moments of genius, inventiveness, innovation, and in a way, like the masses, the great groups of people that make up the world, the large populations that make up the world, big groups, and inventiveness and grand solutions that can help all of humanity. So Uranus is more grounded than Neptune. Neptune is so otherworldly. Uranus is about making things real, but it can be so out there and original and fresh and unreal, and it can be, Neptune can think of things that have never been thought of before. So it's incredibly ingenious and inventive innovation with Uranus. Okay, Uranus is also, as well as being really inventive and innovative and thinking of amazing genius-like solutions for large-scale problems. Those are great advantages. Uranus is also about awakening and refreshing new things. And the revolution side is that Uranus does not like to be tied down and limited. Uranus likes things to be free and authentic. So Uranus will be very impatient with rules and boundaries that it thinks are stupid. And Uranus will be impatient anyway, because Uranus is about breaking through things, breaking into new grounds, into new ways of seeing things, doing things, and with that incredible inventiveness. Yeah. So when we've got Neptune and Uranus connecting, it's a way that it could be like bringing those things that we're imagining and dreaming and visualizing with Neptune's otherworldliness and great imagination and boundless imagination and ideals of unconditional acceptance and compassion and the greatness and vastness of the universe. And Uranus can help. I'm just going to pause while the packet is making a noise. And Uranus can help to find ways to make those imaginative, unreal, incredible, vast ideas actually be something that can be created on Earth. Okay, with this incredible genius that Uranus has. Okay, and just going to mention there Saturn as well. So Saturn is with Neptune, helping to make some of those really applied in an earthy way, practical way, bringing in the ability and capacity for hard work, discipline, working within the actual rules that we have to work in. Okay, all right. Okay, but between these two, Neptune and Uranus, here are some key words. I'm just going to pause while I find these key words or key phrases. So here are some key phrases for that combination of Neptune and Uranus. Flashes of insight, moments of creative brilliance, unconventional spirituality, inventiveness around achieving ideals, metaphysical solutions, discovery through dreams, spiritual awakening, sudden downloads, freedom of ideas and dreams. And I also say acceptance of personal freedom and acceptance of people being original, authentic, individual, and perhaps even quirky. Originality is a real big part of Uranus, and acceptance is a real big part of Neptune. I'm just going to mention also some things that they don't like. And so we're going to see people pulling away some of these things. Neptune doesn't love reality and rules and boundaries, and it dissolves. What it doesn't, it has this action of dissolving things. Uranus, when it doesn't like something, again, it doesn't like inauthenticity, it doesn't like being trapped, it wants to be free. But Uranus's way of dealing with what it doesn't like is to break through and to be restless and be ready to break through, and it can have a revolutionary, rebellious vibe about it. Okay? And now I'm going to mention these other two. I've mentioned Saturn already, but we also have Pluto in the mix. Pluto in a trine, and these are again the 120 degree trine and the 60 degree sextile. These are flowing aspects. There's flow and there's support. There can be luck and opportunity through these aspects. There can be even sweetness and acceptance through these aspects. These two, Pluto's about power and transformation and death, and then rebirth coming from destruction, and then there's the ashes, there's the destruction, the tower tumbling down, or actually I would say more crumbling, because Pluto will be going through Aquarius for 20 years and it will be a slow crumbling of what's in Aquarius. I'm not going to talk too much about that because it's not the main topic. These two are in the mix with the Neptune Uranus aspects, and something that Saturn and Pluto have in common is the word control. All right, so Neptune and Uranus will be the main energies that are about things being boundless and being free and expansive. And then Saturn is about limitations and control, and Pluto can be about control, like power and control. And so there will be ways where some of the new free ideas that Neptune and Uranus have, there'll be aspects where power and control are also themes that are coming in, hopefully in positive ways. And you know, there's so much interesting politics going on with all of this. It's you know, like I said, this mini grand trine, that shape that we're seeing hasn't occurred with these slow outer generational planets for thousands of years. So this is an incredible time to be alive, all right? Any of the individual aspects between them have happened in the last tens or hundreds of years, in the last decades or hundreds of years. For example, Neptune sextile Pluto, that's a very, very long, slow one, but it's occurred in the last hundreds of years. Uranus trine to Pluto, that's occurred in the last decades or hundreds of years. And Neptune sextile Uranus, that's occurred in the last hundreds of years, and then Saturn in the mix with them. But to have all of these happening at the same time, it's absolutely incredible. And this will be active until 2027, this triangle, this mini grand trine. Okay, we're living through amazing times. Okay, all right, so of course there's a whole lot happening in the world and world politics, and that is not my area that I'm going to go into. I'll just mention a couple of things about that last the Neptune-Uranus conjunction, which actually coincidentally also happened with Saturn. So it was a triple conjunction. And that happened at the time of the fall of the communist blocs, the fall of the Berlin Wall, and all those countries in Eastern Europe and Western Asia, leaving behind the USSR, the Soviet Republic, and letting go of communism. So it was a huge time of social change. All right, there were other things that happened too. Oh yes, the birth of, not the birth of the internet, but the internet coming into common use. Huge innovation and social change. So that's happening. Of course, we know that's happening. It's in the news every day. Happening slowly, but fast as well in some ways. So I'm not going to go into that though. I'm going to talk about Neptune and Uranus in your personal chart. All right. So let's talk about the signs that they're in. Uranus is in Gemini, and Gemini is about community and neighborhoods and connections in neighborhoods, social chit chat. It's like if you imagine like everyone is a little dot, and then it's all the little lines connecting all the dots in the neighborhoods. And Gemini is friendly and chatty and interested in learning, curious, and it's also about communication. So social media, Uranus in being inventive with communication channels, social media, and the ways that we connect with each other. Huge inventiveness happening, all right? That would be happening anyway with the 7 years that Uranus is in Gemini, but then it's got Pluto helping it from Aquarius, and it's got Neptune and Saturn helping it, all right? Let's look at Neptune in Aries. Aries, 0 or 1 degree of Aries is that world axis. It's like big, huge, new quests and journeys and steps of initiation in the world. And that's Saturn-Neptune conjunction. I'll be talking about it almost every video, probably, for the next few months. That is happening at that 0 degree, 1 degree of Aries. And it's an incredible new start for everything in the world, because that's 0 degrees of Aries is that world axis. It's the start of the zodiac. It's the start of everything in a lot of ways. All right. So we've got that Aries energy, which is fiery and initiatory and entrepreneurial, and it's about going out on quests and new journeys, new ways to do things. It's a firebrand. So in this video, I'm going to go sign by sign, and I'm going to start with Aries, actually, because I don't normally start with Aries, but most astrologers do. Aries is seen as the first sign of the zodiac because of that firebrand, initiatory energy. But I'm going to talk about Neptune in your whatever house Aries falls in your chart, and Uranus in whatever house Gemini falls in your chart. Okay, so starting from Aries. Okay, if you are Aries, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Aries Rising, Neptune is in your first house, and it's just moved into your first house. It'll move back to Pisces soon for a little while, but not for very long. You've got Saturn there as well. With Saturn there, you're going to be serious and sensible and a little bit weighed down by duties and responsibilities for the next few years. But then Neptune's there, making you kind of the opposite, making you dreamy and imaginative and ready to think of ways to put your dreams into practice with the Saturn conjunction. So that is your first house, and the first house is everything to do with you, your whole life, your body, your physical presence in the world, the character that you play in the world. So it's everything about your whole life is having this amazing new start with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. And then it's helped along with Gemini and Uranus and Gemini, bringing interruptive new ideas, flashes of genius and brilliance from your third house of communication, of neighborhoods, of your relatives and siblings, and the ways that you connect with people on a day-to-day basis. So flashes of brilliance, a restless energy and new ideas, but it's all helping this great brand new start for you in your first house. You've got Neptune going through your first house for about 14 years, and so you're going to be so imaginative during that time, a bit dreamy and vague sometimes, not while Saturn's there, but maybe later on when it's just Neptune. But then with Uranus coming in, you know, some of that dreaminess and you know, some people might say, stop dreaming, stop being so idealistic and romantic. But some of that is going to be coming into being because you will be getting these good ideas to help with it through learning something in your neighborhood, through talking to neighbors, through talking to your relations, through your curiosity, your chat, your networking. Okay, so enjoy that. That great energizing, disruptive energy in your house of community and neighborhoods and connections with siblings. And also the amazing new start with Saturn and Neptune. And then imagination and visualizing things that could come into reality over the next 14 years with Neptune in your first house. So all the best, Aries. Wonderful new initiations and new starts for you. New quests in the world. If you are Taurus, Sun, Moon or Rising, then this new start with Saturn and Neptune is in your 12th house. And Neptune in your 12th house is going to make you so dreamy and so imaginative and so more connected to a spiritual realm. And then the 12th house is all about that anyway, so that's double spiritual, imaginative, dreamy energy, creative, connecting to the universe in your 12th house, and you're just going to be so full of that in a lot of ways for the next 14 years with Neptune there. And at the same time, you've got Saturn there, over the next couple of years, making things more real in terms of whatever it is that you imagine or create. And then you've got, in your second house, Gemini, you've got Uranus. Your second house is about your money, your possessions, your resources, and your sense of self-worth. And Uranus is really going to shake things up in there for the next 7 years, and going to bring some ideas to you, some flashes of brilliance, insight, and inventiveness that's going to help with whatever this great, grand, spiritual new start is for you in your 12th house. Okay, so all the best, Taurus. You'll be a bit relieved, I think, because you've had Uranus in your own house, your first house, for the last 7 years, interrupting you, changing your life around. Now that's going to go into now that's in your house, your second house of your possessions and your money. So there's going to be changes to you for your finances and everything, and it's going to connect in with whatever's going on with this 12th house. The house of retreats and imagination and dreams, and foreign travel is another area that it could be. Okay, so all the best for that, Taurus. If you are Gemini, sun, moon, or rising, but especially Gemini rising, well, the great, grand, epic new start with Neptune and Saturn, that's in your 11th house. The 11th house is long-term goals, so that's a perfect time over the next couple of years to be developing some big new long-term goal. It's also your rewards from work, and it's also the groups of people that you're connected to, whether through friendship or you've got something in common with each other, but it's groups of people that you choose to be connected with. And that's a great grand new start happening. And then you've got the sextile to Uranus, which is in your house, Gemini. You've got Uranus, the interrupter, the connector, the brilliant genius of invention and innovation in your house. So you are going to be so creative and inventive and clever and restless over the next 7 years with Uranus there. But that Uranus sextile with Saturn and Neptune in your 11th house, there's some kind of connection there between you coming from you and your restless inventiveness, and it's connecting to some great grand new start in the groups of people that you're connected with, or your long-term goals, or the gains or rewards that you get from your career. Okay, so that's pretty exciting, Gemini. All the best for that. And if you are Cancer, sun, moon, or rising, but especially Cancer rising, well, you have got the Saturn-Neptune conjunction with Neptune in the sign of Aries, and that is your 10th house of career. Your career, your status and reputation, and even the legacy that you leave behind in the world. And by career, it's not like necessarily your daily job, but it's about the things that you put out into the world. And so that's why it can be about your paid career, or it can be about some work that you're doing that leaves a legacy, that builds in the community. And you've got a great grand new start in that with Neptune moving through that sign and Saturn conjunct Neptune in that sign, in that house of your career. And Neptune will be there for 14 years, making you more dreamy, imaginative, dissolving some of your old patterns and ways of doing things, and belief systems even, and feelings about your career. And then you've also got Gemini with Uranus in it, and Gemini is your 12th house, and the 12th house is like Neptune. The 12th house is dreamy, imaginative. It's about connection to all that is. It's about retreat and foreign travel and being away from the world. And Gemini's going to be disrupting that 12th house of yours, your house of the ways that you retreat from the world, far distant travel and spiritual connection for 7 years. Okay, but with the sextile to Neptune and Saturn in your 10th house, there's something about that world of dreams and imagination and how you retreat, and in a way your secret life, your sanctuary from the world, that is going to interrupt in a helpful way what's going on in your career. And your career is having this grand epic new start over the next few years, a whole new journey with a Saturn-Neptune conjunction there. So that's pretty exciting for you, Gemini. The career house is a very major house, and Cancer. So there's a great new start there with some helpful, genius innovations from your dream world or your retreat world in the sign of Gemini. All the best, Cancer. If you are Leo, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Leo Rising, well, the great new start, the great new beginning that Saturn, Neptune coming together represents, and coming exact in February, that's in your 9th house. And so Neptune is going to be moving through your 9th house for the next 14 years. And the 9th house is about travel, overseas travel, foreign travel, or learning about other cultures from overseas, or higher philosophy or belief systems, like new ways of you're going to be looking at new ways of understanding the way that the world works, that the sort of the foundational beliefs about how the world works, and spiritual practices to do with the world. And Neptune in that house over the next 14 years is going to make you dreamy, imaginative. It's going to dissolve some of your old ways, and there's going to be new stuff there, especially with that new start with Saturn and Neptune there. All right, and in the meantime, you have got Gemini is your 11th house, and Uranus is in Gemini for the next 7 years. And the 11th house is about your long-term goals, the gains and rewards that you get from your career, and also the large groups of people that you belong to by choice, not just the ones that you belong to through your family or your community, but actually you have chosen to be part of them, maybe because you have something in common, or you like each other, like friendship groups. All right, so perhaps like there's a new long-term goal that you have that's kind of genius, innovative, different, original, quirky even. And that's going to interrupt your ideas about how your belief systems in the world, your philosophy of the world, or bring you to doing some travel overseas. Okay, or it could be there's some new gains or things that you get in your work that changes your beliefs about the world, or through a group connection that you've got. Maybe you meet somebody that like a guru or a spiritual advisor that helps you understand the way the world works in a different way. All right, and whatever it is from Uranus, it's going to be disruptive and awakening and fresh and original, and maybe disruptive and cause a few problems, but it's a flowing aspect, so overall it's going to be helpful and easy. So all the best for that, Leo. If you are Virgo, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Virgo Rising, well, you have got the great grand new start with Saturn and Neptune happening in your 8th house. And that, and then Neptune is going to be going through your 8th house for the next 14 years, and it's making you more dreamy and imaginative and dissolving things, and bringing more acceptance and maybe connection to spirituality in the 8th house. So the 8th house is about it's about your underlying psychological layers. It's also about other people's money in your life. So perhaps your partner's money, or investments, or tax money, money that belongs to other people but it is part of your life. And it's also about, can be about intimacy with your partner, and kind of those deeper layers of oneself, one's psychological underneath layers, and also intimacy with your partner. And a lot of these layers are like power, and to do with power. And the eighth house can bring about kind of shocking transformations. But Neptune there for the next 14 years could be like dissolving things there, maybe dissolving some of your subconscious underlying psychological layers. And then you've got Uranus in the meantime going through your 10th house of career, and that 10th house, that is going to be so disrupted, and bring so many changes with Uranus going through there for the next 7 years. And there's going to be something in the next few years with the sextile between Uranus and Neptune, and with Saturn in the house of 8th house as well, that's going to bring things from there'll be things about your career that make you see things in a different way in your 8th house. So something about your career or your work or your reputation in the world that makes you see your partner's money in a different way, or understand occult mysteries in a different way. That's also the 8th house. Or understand intimacy with your partner in a different way, or understand your own psychological layers in a different way. Okay, so all the best for that, Virgo. If you are Libra sun, moon or rising, but especially Libra rising, I'm actually Libra sun, so this applies to me as well. The great grand new start with Neptune and Saturn coming into conjunction at 1 degree of Aries, that is happening in our 7th house. It's actually exactly opposite my sun. And so that's some new beginning. That's a great grand epic years-long new beginning in the 7th house of partnership. And that can be your life partner or intimate partner, or it can be somebody you work with, or a friend that you spend a lot of one-to-one time with, or it can be clients, especially where it's one-to-one kind of relationships with your and interactions with your clients. Okay, so just moving around because dishes are happening. My darling partner is doing the dishes as well as cooking tea, so I could do my video. I'm so lucky, but yeah, it's good. Okay, so there's a great grand new start there for our partnerships, and maybe for our partner themselves, or for the ways that we do partnership. And we've also got Neptune in the sign of our partner for the next 14 years, making us perhaps idealistic, romantic, dreamy and imaginative, and perhaps also confused and vague. And then at the same time, we've got Uranus going through our 9th house, and for Libra, Gemini is the 9th house, and the 9th house is about foreign travel, belief systems, what you believe in the world, your philosophies of the world, and foreign connections. Like, even if it's not foreign travel, it'll be like where you're connecting with other cultures from far away, like maybe meeting people. Uranus is going to be shaking up this area for the next 7 years, and maybe you'll completely change your belief systems, maybe even several times over, or there might be just sudden surprising opportunities to travel overseas, or you had plans to travel overseas, or you live overseas, and it all changes up in some way. But while you've got that Uranus-Neptune sextile, and there's this flow between them, there could be something from your 9th house that helps you with your 7th house of partnership, or it changes something, or it brings new inventive ideas to the ways that you do partnership, or the ways that you connect with people in one-to-one relationships. Yeah, so good luck with that, Libra. If you are Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising, but especially Scorpio rising, well, the great grand conjunction between Saturn and Neptune is happening in your sixth house, and that is Aries. And your sixth house is about your daily work, your routines for daily life, your health and nutrition in daily life, the ways that you keep yourself clean, healthy, and organized, and how you give service in the world. And that's why it's about your work, your daily work. All right, so it can even be about colleagues and the tasks that you do in your work each day, especially where that's giving service to the world. All right, so there's some great grand new epic start with the Saturn Neptune conjunction. And then you've also got Neptune going through that house for the next 14 years. And in your daily work, that could be making you maybe feel more romantic about your daily work. It could be bringing elements of compassion or charity into your daily work, making you perhaps even more dreamy and imaginative, but perhaps also vague and confused, and some things can just dissolve, just disappear over the next 14 years with your daily work or with your nutrition and your health routines in daily life. But at the same time, in your 8th house, because Gemini is your 8th house, Uranus is going through there for the next 7 years, and that your 8th house is about your partner's money or assets or investments, money that doesn't belong to you or it's not with you, but it's connected to you sometimes in your life. It's usually like large amounts of money. Or it can be about intimacy with your partner. It can also be about your deep underlying psychological layers and the transformation through like hard times. Like it's like kind of about death and rebirth, that 8th house. And it's also about occult mysteries. Uranus is going through there for 7 years, bringing big disruptions and changes, changing this way, changing that way, to any of those things. And that is somehow, with the Uranus-Neptune sextile, there's a connection between those two, and Uranus might bring some inventiveness and innovation and maybe restlessness and awakening to your 6th house, where Neptune is. All right, so something that helps you wake up in a way and change things and get some cool new ideas, but they're a bit radical and original and out there. Okay, and that will all be happening over the next few years. So all the best for that, Scorpio. If you are Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising, but especially Sagittarius rising, well, the great grand new start represented by Neptune and Saturn is happening in your 5th house. And your 5th house is about your romantic relationships. It's where you play. It's about your children. And it's also about your wonderful, heartfelt, inspiring projects, like hobbies, but even projects that you just feel so inspired and lit up by. All right. Oh, Sagittarius, excuse my pause. We just had a knock on the window of the van, and it was a neighbour, a van life neighbour in the parking lot came to say hello. So that was a nice chat, because sometimes we can go around all these parking lots and where you can stay for free, you're allowed to stay for free, and then we always make sure we buy something from the local village. But anyway, you can go around and not talk to anybody. It could be a lonely existence, potentially. Anyway, so it's nice to meet a neighbour. All right, so I think what I said was that you've got Sagittarius, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction happening in your 5th house, and all the things to do with your 5th house. And at the same time, you've got Uranus going through Gemini, and Gemini is your 7th house of partners. And that is one-to-one partners. So that could be your marriage partner, or a long-term committed relationship that you're in, or anyone that you're working with on a one-to-one basis. And and or that can be clients or colleagues that you're working with on a one-to-one basis, or friends that you're doing things with and you're talking together one-to-one, okay? And you've got Uranus going through that house of partnership for the next 7 years, shaking everything up, changing things, being disruptive, and that could be your partner seeking freedom, or it could be you're seeking freedom in relationship, and then moments of genius. And then there's this flowing aspect between that 7th house of partnership and your 5th house of romance and creative projects and your children. So there could be some wonderful inventiveness that happens between those two areas, and it could even be bringing ideals into reality and helping with new and innovative ways to do things. So all the best, Sagittarius. If you are Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Capricorn Rising, well, this conjunction between Saturn and Neptune, this great grand new start, is happening in your 4th house. And the 4th house is the house of home and family, your family of origin, the people that you live with, or even properties that you own, or the place that you live. Okay, so there's some great new epic start happening, unfolding over the next few years there. And then you've got Neptune still going. Saturn will move on, but Neptune's going to be there for the next 14 years, and in your home, or to do with your home. For that time, you're going to be more imaginative, more dreamy, more creative, perhaps have a feeling of spirituality. There could be charity happening, and there could be some letting go and dissolving, because Neptune does that. Then, at the same time, you've got Uranus going through Gemini, and that is your 6th house. And the 6th house is about the work that you do on a daily basis, the service that you give the world, your daily routines for health and good organization in life, your nutrition, and how you look after your hygiene and your nutrition and your cleanliness. Okay, just moving a little bit there. And so you're going to be thinking of new, original, kind of brilliant ideas in your house of service and health and nutrition and daily routines. And they could be disruptive, interruptive, very creative and inventive, and bringing some new ideas to your 4th house, where the great Saturn-Neptune conjunction is happening. So new ideas there, and some kind of connection between how you give service in the world and the home and family, or even family of origin. So enjoy that in that house of service, and yeah, you're going to be quite disrupted over the next 7 years, and think of new ideas, go this way, that way, and it will settle down after that, but it's going to be awakening and inspiring. Okay, and so all the best for that, Capricorn. If you are Aquarius, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Aquarius Rising, and I do have a friend who is Aquarius Rising, actually a few friends who are Aquarius Rising. So this is using whole sign astrology. You have got the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, that great grand new start happening in your 3rd house. Aries is your 3rd house, and the 3rd house rules your neighborhoods, your community, how you connect with others in your local environment. You're traveling around your neighborhood, driving, walking, biking around and about, going down to the market, trade and exchange in different ways of connecting, even small businesses, social and enterprises, and social media, your networking. So you've got a great grand new start in that area with the Sun, with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction that becomes exact in February. And then Neptune is going to be in that house for the next 14 years. It's there now. It's going to go back into Pisces for a little while, but then it's going to go on for 14 years. And you're going to be more dreamy, more compassionate, more idealistic and imaginative in that area of your neighborhood and community. Perhaps you get involved in local charities, doing good works for people, helping people out. That's pretty Neptunian. Perhaps you think of some really great idealistic, even romantic ideas about how your neighborhood could be. This could also be relatives and siblings, by the way. Okay. And yeah, Neptune's going to be pretty dreamy there for you for the next 14 years. And at the same time, you've got Uranus going through Gemini and for 7 years. And Gemini is your 5th house. And your 5th house is about romantic relationships, romance altogether. It's about playful fun. It's about your children. And it's also about creative projects that you're really into, like you're really buzzed with, and you're taking a leadership role in those creative projects, and they are heartfelt. Uranus is going to be interrupting that area for the next 7 years with new ideas, inventiveness, ingenious, new innovations. And that is going to connect with that 3rd house of your neighborhoods, your communities, your siblings, your small business, your social networking. So some kind of connection there that is inventive, creative, imaginative, idealistic, fresh and original. So all the best for that, Aquarius. And if you are Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, like me, I am Pisces, Moon, and Pisces Rising, well, we have got the great grand new start, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in our 2nd house. Aries is our 2nd house. The 2nd house is about our money, our resources, our financial resources, even our possessions, and our ability to earn money, and our sense of self-worth, and even to do with our body and what we eat. Okay, so there's a great grand new start that's happening in that 2nd house, and at the same time Saturn's going through, making us serious and organized for a couple of years, and we've got Neptune in that 2nd house making us more dreamy, idealistic, imaginative, even romantic, and on the downside more vague and confused, and dissolving some things to do with our money. Some things could just disappear. Okay, so there's a great new start, but also there's letting go of some things. All right, and at the same time we've got Uranus going through Gemini in our 4th house, and the 4th house is the house of home and family, and our family of origin, who we live with, the people we live with, our property, if you own a property, or where you live, the house that you live in. Okay, and there's going to be disruptions in those areas, in that area, home, family of origin, ancestry, for the next 7 years with Gemini going through that area. And at the same time, there's a flowing relationship between Gemini in that area of the 4th house, home and family, and the 2nd house of money and possessions and sense of self-worth. So there could be some great new innovative ideas coming in that help with the great new start with our money. There could be some moments of genius and originality and creative downloads that help with that great grand new start. Okay, so there we go, Pisces, all the best for that. So there we go, everyone. That's all from me. It's now fully dark. It's still raining outside. The dishes are done, and I think I will have to make up for that tomorrow because my partner cooked the tea and did the dishes. So I'll be on duty tomorrow. We are now in Austria and have been absolutely loving, again, the climbing that we've been doing. I do love mountains. I love to be by mountains. And then it has been hot, not as hot as it was before. And there's lakes everywhere, so you can go and jump in a lake. And yesterday we were by this lake. I just found it so wonderful. It was called Atalze, and it was, unlike the other lakes, it was really dark. A lot of the other lakes are very beautiful, bright blue. This one was dark, and apparently, like 1200 years or so ago, perhaps an earthquake happened, and the side of the mountain, I guess, went into the lake or went down, and all the fir trees on it, and somehow the lake maybe formed after that from springs in the ground, or maybe not, but anyway, inside that lake there are hundreds of trees that they're not alive, but they're still standing, and they're amazingly well preserved. So they showed a map of the lake with all these dots everywhere, like 100 or so dots, and each one was a standing tree. And when there was one that they pulled out as a sample, and it looked like it had only just like fallen down or come down last year. Like, it was just so well preserved, and they're like 12 or 1400 years old. So it's incredible. I thought that was wonderful. Tomorrow we're going to look at Vienna, and I'm going to look up and see if there's an opera if we could go and see, but otherwise we'll just go around admiring the amazing buildings and things and getting the cultural vibe. Yeah, we're coming to the end of our trip. We've only got about 5 weeks to go, but boy, it's been wonderful. So I hope that for everyone. I hope, I want us to save the environment with fuel, and the use of fossil fuels for transport and everything. And then at the same time, I do want everyone in the world to be able to travel and learn different things about how the world is set up and how the world works and how nice people are everywhere. And traveling really does that. I'm definitely getting a clearer picture of a lot of stuff in our world, even though I haven't been really following the politics or anything for quite a while. Yeah, it's been very rewarding and very interesting. Anyway, all the best. Happy new moon. There are a lot of Venus transits coming up this week, so there'll be, some challenging ones, but there might be some topics of relationships and money and some sweetness and joy as well with Venus. And then we've got that exact point of the Neptune Uranus sextile on the 29th. We're in that energy now, so everything I've been talking about applies now, but it's growing over the next 2 to 3 years. Okay, all the best everyone. Bye for now. Oh, and I forgot to say, my name is Fiona of Sun and Moon Calendar. I don't know if I said that. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video. Bye for now.